Academy two things. I would not go into the Marine Corps because they were crazy, and I would not fly airplanes because that was inherently dangerous. When it was time to graduate, I became a Marine, intending to be an infantry officer, but found out I really did not like crawling around in the mud. My wife did not like the prospect of me being an infantry officer going off to Vietnam, where the life expectancy of a second lieutenant was expressed in weeks and months. And she convinced me to go to flight school, a place I said I was not going to go. When I went there, my first flight, I fell in love with it. I could not believe that this was something I did not want to do. And it was while I was serving as a test pilot on a place called Patuxent River, Maryland. I had the privilege of meeting one of the three Black astronauts who integrated NASA's astronaut corps. But I knew that there were three Black astronauts in that first class of 1978, but I didn't know any of them. Ron McNair, Fred Gregory, and I knew at the time that it was among the most violent places on Earth, but from the vantage point of space, there was no evidence that human beings lived there. I felt insignificant as an Earthling, as a person from this planet, because there was no sign that human beings lived down there. It was peaceful and serene and beautiful. And you look at the beauty of the planet where there are no borders, no boundaries, and you recognize pretty quickly that all this talk about division among people is something that comes out of our heads. It's generated by human beings who just don't seem to be able to get along with each other. As I said, my mother was a librarian, so I grew up loving books and poetry and stuff like that. And my favorite poet is a woman by the name of Nikki Giovanni. Nikki Giovanni is a civil rights leader, and she is now a professor of English at Virginia Tech in Blacksburg, Virginia. I remember growing up in the segregated South, listening to many of her civil rights poems that were pretty dynamic and some very colorful.
If I can't do what I want to do, then my job is to not do what I don't want to do. It's not the same thing, but it's the best I can do. If I can't have what I want, then my job is to want what I've got and be satisfied that at least there is something more to want.
She wrote a poem many years ago, and it's called Quilting the Black Eyed Pea. We are going to Mars. And this was before we started talking about taking trips to Mars.
I met Dr. Bolden when he was the head of NASA. I'm too old, and they're not gonna let me go into space. But I would love to spend my last few years, if I knew what they would be, just going around the galaxy and seeing what's out there. Because if there is life in our galaxy,